Coming up next, On the Spot. Sega stops through with Crush, and ATI drops by with their latest graphics card. Also, we're playing a pair of portable Final Fantasies, Eternal Sonata for the 360, Wing Commander Arena, and a little game called Halo 3. Plus, we'll check out the highlights of Sony's recent preview event, including Heavenly Sword and Drake's Fortune. We're live and on the spot. Hello, everybody, and welcome to On the Spot, GameSpot's live preview show we have every Thursday. We play a whole bunch of games you haven't seen before, generally have a good time. I'm your host, Rich Gallup, back from Hawaii. Hey, Jeff Gerstmann.
Hey, hi.
How's it going, buddy?
Good.
You guys had quite the show last week.
Oh, whatever. We just hung out. And,
it was like 90 minutes long. It was so long.
It was epic.
It was an epic show.
Yeah, no one told me to stop, so I didn't stop.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
We have a great show for you today.
Really?
We have all kinds of, I think we have 8 game demos. Ryan Davis, what's going on with today's show?
Tons of fun, Rich. Tons of fun. Good to have you back,
Thanks, buddy.
Much less chaotic today. Sega's here with Crush for the PSP. Very exciting new game. ATI's here to show off their latest video card. We got a couple of cool demos we're going to check out with that. We've got Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions for the PlayStation Portable. It's a new, turn-based strategy game for the PSP, set in the Final Fantasy world. Eternal Sonata. That's a new Xbox 360 RPG. It's got some crazy new combat systems. Justin Calvert's going to check out the new Japanese demo for the game. Halo 3. Maybe you've heard of it.
Heard of it.
Okay, well then we're going to have some of that. The new multiplayer beta, it just hit yesterday, I think, finally. Did that actually come out finally?
Yep.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
midnight.
Yeah.
So,
It might have been today even.
No, it was yesterday.
Last night. It was yesterday. Okay, fine.
So we've got that. We're going to check that out for a little bit. Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings for the DS. That's a new Final Fantasy game. We've got double the Final Fantasy on the show today. That's for the DS with the Japanese version of that. Brian Ekberg's going to check that one out. We've got stuff from the Square Enix party in Japan earlier this week. We've got stuff from Sony earlier this week. We have the new Wing Commander Xbox Live Arcade game for the Xbox 360. Jeff, you're going to be checking that one out. We've got trailer premieres. We've got crazy interviews. It's so much going on.
Don't forget Raw Danger.
And then there's that danger.
Raw Danger.
Danger has never been
If
this
you want to
raw.
know what Raw Danger is, stay tuned until the end of the show because it's
some
danger.
raw-ass danger, son.
It is savage.
Yeah.
It is some raw, savage danger. But first, Ryan Davis.
But first, I felt bad saying his line first.
Last night, during this week, Sony held a huge press event full of all kinds of games, right, Jeff?
Yeah, they showed off some of the stuff that they're going to be showing off later in the year. So it was like, here's a little bit of what you're going to get, and then at E3 we're going to show some more. And they showed, it was our first time seeing some games, some really big stuff.
And our video team and our preview team worked the midnight oil last night, putting up all kinds of stuff to hit that midnight embargo. There's over 50 movies, tons of previews, 300-some screenshots. You should check it all out, but not right now because we're doing a show and you should stay with us.
We got this.
Yeah,
going
don't go
this
anywhere.
thing. We're going to show you the best of it.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen them, we're going to show you 3 of the interviews that you can currently find on the site, all in HD, with direct feed, all that stuff. Our first one is for Ratchet and Clank Future, Tools of Destruction.
The future.
Ratchet and Clank Future.
They're just paving the way for Ratchet and Clank Past, I think, where they'll have steam-powered robots or something.
Let's get to the now, though, shall we?
Okay.
Check it out.
Greetings, cadets! Insomniac Games has asked me, Captain Quark, to talk about their next big game for the PlayStation 3. If only we had some footage to show you.
Captain Quark, right here.
I'm Brian Allgaier. I'm the creative director of Ratchet and Clank Future, Tools of Destruction, and I work at Insomniac Games. And we're very excited about this game because we believe it's going to be the ultimate action-adventure for the PlayStation 3. We're thinking about this as a whole new beginning for the series, and there's a story that we're developing that's going to span multiple games. So this is, really we're delving into a little bit of Ratchet's past, and some questions about Ratchet and Clank's future come up. Well, we have a number of the archetypal weapons that Ratchet's used in past games. But in addition to that, we've got weapons that take advantage of the PS3 hardware, like the 6-axis control over the Visicopter. This is a combat device that is a special type of weapon that's very powerful that the players can use when they're in a tricky situation. We have another weapon called the tornado launcher. The player can launch out tornadoes and then use the 6-axis to control them. So you first launch out your tornado, and the 6-axis will actually suck enemies up, whip them around, and throw them into places. It also has some lightning bolts that shoot out when it gets upgraded. The Groovatron is another combat device that forces enemies to dance. And so it's kind of fun to watch the enemies dance. All the enemies in the game will dance to the Groovatron. And it's a strategic weapon too, because while they're dancing, you get to shoot them. So like past games, we're going to have a ton of variety in this game. There's many different gadgets, of course, weapons, and a lot of different game modes. But we're going to be able to travel to a lot of different worlds. We have multiple factions that run the Polaris Galaxy where Ratchet and Clank go to. So you're going to see a lot of new planets that you haven't seen in past games. Ratchet will pilot his ship from one planet to the other, and we have these space combat levels which are more choreographed and directed. There's a lot of stuff that's on screen. I think people will really be impressed by the amount of density and the spectacle that occurs. Now this is what we're calling an action sequence, and Ratchet travels along the grind rail. It seamlessly goes into an arena boss battle. The player can choose between the upper and lower level of the boss battle, and at the upper level they have less room to run around with, but the boss has fewer attacks. On the lower level they have more room to run around with, but the boss has more attacks. So we're leaving it up to the player to pick their own strategy on how they want to defeat the boss. We feel that Ratchet and Clank Future is going to be like experiencing a computer-generated animated movie. And so we really want to have the quality of the textures, the lighting, the atmospheric effects evoke that feeling. The fact that it's going to be an adventure that has a little bit of a dramatic side in Ratchet exploring his roots, we really wanted to create worlds that evoke that sense of that visceral, that vivid and sophisticated feel. And that's what really our technology has given us. We've been able to fine-tune and overhaul our proprietary PS3 engine that we use to make Resistance Fall of Man and create much more detailed shaders, which allow us to give our surfaces much richer quality. Can't tell you too much about Clank. He will be playable, and he will have all new gameplay, and there's going to be some new abilities that he's going to discover during this adventure. Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction will be coming out for the PlayStation 3 in fall 2007.
Cute.
The game is Ratchet and Clank Future Total Destruction. You can find a preview, gameplay movies, a stage demo, all kinds of stuff over on GameSpot.com. But not right now, because you're watching us, and I'm joined by Omar and Jenny from Sega. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming.
How's Hawaii?
Oh, it was so nice. Everyone apparently says I'm not tan enough, but it's because I use suntan lotion. But it was actually I got engaged.
Wow!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So yeah, so the game is Crush. We saw a trailer for it on the show a few weeks ago. It's awesome. It's a puzzle game. It's for the PSP. Tell us more.
Yeah. So Crush is a puzzle game. It's a brain teaser, if you will, and it's about a boy named Danny who's an insomniac. I'm sure you've experienced that yourself as well.
I think everyone around the office is pretty much an insomniac right now. But keep going.
Yeah, and so he goes to seek professional help, visits an experimental scientist who's invented a machine called Crush. And with this device, he plugs in Danny and puts him into a dreamlike state where he's able to kind of revisit some of his childhood memories. And in this state, he's also able to crush from a 3D to a 2D environment and back into a 3D environment.
Cool.
Yeah.
And thus the name of the game, Crush.
Yes. And Omar is going to talk about the gameplay.
All right, so we know it's a puzzle game. We're guessing, Omar, you have to get from point A to point B. What is the goal of each level in Crush?
So basically, the environments, the 3D maps that you see and that you're navigating is the issue that's keeping Danny awake and not letting him to sleep. And so your goal is to utilize the Crush mechanic to navigate through the 3D world, which is now 2D, and then back to 3D. And find your way to the portal, which on this level is on the top platform. So the only way you can navigate a map successfully is by utilizing the 2D and 3D space. Mm-hmm. And by progressing through the map, you'll unlock more parts of the story. And the story is shown through comic book kind of style artwork. And so the next map that we're going to show is Seaside. I'm going to show you some different properties that the maps have because different things happen when you crush from 3D to 2D space.
And it looks like a big part of the game is going to be rotating the camera to find which part, because you can crush anything you want, but it's not necessarily going to help you every single time.
Exactly. The two most important factors are the crush mechanic and the camera angle that you're crushing at. So on Seaside here, it's just giving a little overview of the whole map so you can find your way through. There's different blocks, is what they term them in the game, and the blocks have different properties in 3D space. And then in 2D, there's these solid blocks, which you can't pass through or crush on.
Okay.
Okay, and that kind of keys into the camera angles and finding the right path. The other blocks are hollow blocks, and they usually have a ground texture, and you can actually walk through those blocks, and you'll be able to utilize the hollow blocks in order to get certain items. So she's demonstrating right now this puzzle piece that wasn't obtainable in 3D space, but you can get it in 2D because that type of block becomes hollow.
So we got a puzzle piece there. I see a cool floating blue orb thing. What do the different items in the game do?
So there's different collectibles. The majority of them are the little marbles that you see, the glowing circle orbs, and basically it's a play on words. He's lost his marbles. You have to go around collect them.
Nice.
You have to gain at least 50% of the marbles in order to successfully get out of the map. The door won't open unless you get 50% of them. The puzzle piece that she just got was a bonus piece, and you basically unlock concept art in a gallery on the main menu. Another item that is hidden in the map is an achievement, and it's in the form of a trophy, a neon glowing trophy. And in order to find that, you can see it on the wall there as she rotates. It only activates in 2D space, and so your goal is to navigate through the map and find the location that the trophy actually pops up in 2D space. And that will unlock a new mode called Trophy Mode, and you can play this particular level back in Trophy Mode with different parameters like time and number of crushes, having a restraint on those.
Cool.
So it's a different type of challenge.
So this level obviously looks dramatically different than the first level we saw. How many levels are in the game, and how different are they?
So there is a city map, or a city environment, a seaside environment, which we're on, a funfair environment, and then a nursery environment. And in total, there's 50 levels within all those environments. And progressively, they gain in difficulty. The first city map is fairly easy. Seaside is becoming medium, and then your difficulties raise from like hard to insane to fiendish.
Awesome.
And I know for a fact that this can be a very challenging game. It took me an hour and a half one time to complete one of the fiendish levels.
Just one fiendish level?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Are you ready for some questions from the audience?
Sure.
Ryan Davis. Hey, Rick. Questions about Crush for Omar and Jenny?
Sure. So how about one from Sylvester Canales in Alamo, Texas? Wants to know, are there any consequences if you crush from the wrong camera angle? Does that ever happen?
Yes, it does. In the game, it's explained that the crush machine actually has a safety device, and it will protect you from crushing in the wrong angle. You'll basically resort back to the original position you were in.
Cool. More questions, please, Ryan Davis?
Oh, let's see here. Joshua Montgomery in Little Rock wants to know, how hard is Crush?
It gets hard.
It's definitely a challenge. It's a brain teaser.
It's a big brain teaser.
Yeah, you'll get to exercise your analytical and creative skills. So there's definitely some challenges.
PSP seems to me at least becoming more and more like the ultimate puzzle gaming device between like Luminous and Exit and stuff like that, and now Crush. How easy is it to just like pause the game, turn it off in the middle of a level, or is it made for portable play?
Definitely.
Very cool. Ryan Davis, more questions?
Let's hear Derek Bailey from Concord asks, does it have any RPG elements to it?
Not necessarily. You are playing the role of Danny, who is an insomniac. How far you want to go with that in your real life, I'm not sure.
And you can unlock gallery art and screens on the storyline to figure out more, to learn more about the story itself.
Cool. I have to ask. Ryan Davis, you look for one last question while I have to ask the question that I have to ask. All right, so I'm seeing this game going from 3D to 2D. There happens to be another game that just came out that is 3D to 2D for the Wii. Will you guys see that and think of things you do differently? Or I think your mechanic seems way more in depth since it's for a puzzle game. Super Paper Mario more does it for like hiding stuff. But how do you guys feel about another game having the 2D 3D out there?
It's definitely interesting and I guess cool to see different dynamics of the same mechanic, I would say. But I would say Paper Mario?
Yep.
It's more of an action game, and you're trying to escape stuff and find your way past the level. While this, you're actually challenging your brain and changing camera angles, and this is more of a Rubik's Cube kind of orientated game.
It must have been fun or a challenge and fun making these levels that have so many different ways for you to just pull it apart and
Quote
squish it
from the
together.
developers: a lot of beer and Legos.
Nice. That's how every game should be made. Ryan Davis, one last question, please.
This one's from Radford Castro in American Canyon, California. Wants to know, are there any co-op modes, any sort of multiplayer at all?
No, there's no online and no co-op or multiplayer.
Cool.
But if you do play it with someone with one PSP,
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We spent
Backseat driver and everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Full experience.
yeah.
Get the
And it
surround
helps
sound
with
going.
with the later levels, definitely.
You definitely need that
Yeah.
extra pair of eyes.
Yeah.
Cool. So the game is Crush for the PSP. When is it coming out?
May 29th.
May 20th. That's
Right
like
around the corner.
It's like this month, isn't
Yeah.
it? I've totally lost all track of time. All right, Jenny, Omar, thanks for coming by.
Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
having us.
Appreciate it. Feel free to bring by your next game. We'll be here for you.
All right.
Ryan Davis, are you standing by right now with a special guest?
I am indeed. I am joined now by Stanley Osius. You're a senior product manager for AMD. Is that right?
Yep.
Stan, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
You've brought with you the ATI Radeon HD 2900 XT.
That's
Now,
right.
This is one of your hot new cards.
Exactly.
You've got a couple of demos that kind of show off what the card is capable
right.
of. Let's start rolling those and just start talking about what we've got here.
Sure. Well, we just introduced this brand new family, top to bottom family of new GPUs. It's called the ATI Radeon HD 2000 series, and the top one is called the HD 2900. A lot of people know it as the R600. It's famous that way. But the ATI Radeon HD 2900 XT delivers all these great capabilities. It's our first DirectX 10 graphics processor. And it's able to deliver all these great features that this demo is showing. For example, particle physics that we're seeing in this scene here. This particular demo is of a game called Call of Juarez. This is one of the first DirectX 10 games that's going to be coming out to the market. And it has all kinds of great features like procedural shaders for shadows, really high-resolution textures. It does all kinds of very special effects that makes games much more immersive. This whole generation of products that we're introducing is all about bringing immersive high-definition gaming to the user. So this scene here is showing the kinds of foliage. DirectX 10 is going to make games much more interesting and fun to play because it's going to have a lot more objects in the scene, a lot more clutter, and the visual quality is going to be stunning and really spectacular. And in order to deliver that, this product, for example, the 2900, has 320 shader processors and a 512-bit memory interface. So really unprecedented performance capabilities in order to deliver the really highest quality game in all kinds of resolutions with the settings turned up to full. And it's got things like built-in crossfire support, so you could have multi-GPUs right out of the box. It all just works.
So you can have a couple of these. I'm going to show this on
That's
camera.
right.
This is a beast of a card.
Whoa.
Look at that thing. That's easily going to take up a couple of slots there.
Absolutely.
And you're telling me that you can actually throw two of these into a machine at once.
That's right. If you have the right sort of motherboard that has crossfire support, you'll be able to put two of those in, and it comes with the cables right in the box, so it's internal as opposed to the old crossfire, which needed an external cable. So this is really
little
convenient.
weird pass-through thing.
So this is very convenient, yeah.
So also another thing I want to show off here, this doesn't really show very well, but this is a little DVI to HDMI adapter. Now you want to tell me about how this works?
Yeah, well, this is one of the cool things. The whole product is intended to allow you to have a high-definition, big-screen gaming experience. And one of the things that we do, we've built in an audio controller right into the GPU so that we could output audio as well as video. And with this HDMI adapter, you could plug it in with a one-plug connection to a big-screen TV, like if you just bought yourself a nice 50-inch plasma. Plug it in, you could really play games on a really big tableau. It's really nice.
Fantastic. So you're telling me I don't even need a sound card separate for,
That's
for
right,
this
it's
to
got
work?
sound built in.
Fantastic. Let's get back to the demos here. What else do we have to show?
So the next one, I think, is showing a type of research project that we have that's taking advantage of a lot of the immersive qualities of the graphics technology that we have. One of the things we really wanted to do is to expand the role of the GPU beyond just rendering pretty pictures and actually making it more immersive and interactive. So the next demo is showing a kind of a Lego block type of thing where we're interacting with the scene. This is kind of a research into a new type of input device that might be like just a video camera. You could actually put yourself inside the scene, and it takes advantage of our physics capability as well. So this is a movie, basically, of something that we did in real time, which is inserting this individual, and she was having a lot of fun. And those little Lego blocks can now be destroyed, and it uses a lot of the physics properties. So the movement of those blocks is controlled by gravity. We can introduce things like wind. And this isn't finished work by any means, but this is just showing the sort of capability that we have built into the chip to have real-time capture of images and motion and depth, and then intersperse it with physics as a new way to have an immersive quality in the games that we're playing.
Now, basically, every pixel of this image that we're seeing getting busted apart here is made up of a little polygon. Do you know what the actual resolution of that image is there?
In this particular one, it could really scale to any resolution at all. But it does bring to mind what you're talking about is we have the ability to do tessellation, which is another aspect of what this new generation of products of ours, the HD 2000 series, is capable of. We've built in dynamic geometry acceleration features, which allows us to do beyond physics. We're able to do things like tessellation. Tessellation is another demo that we have that's coming up in a second here.
Yes.
Allows us to do sort of higher resolution scenes very easily without a lot of overhead.
Okay.
And it's very good performance, and it gives a really immersive quality to the games, much more realism.
Excellent. So this is what we're looking at right here.
That's right. So one of the things that we wanted to allow game developers to do is to have really rich environments and to make it easy to have them procedurally generated, so that not only do they look great and look realistic, but that you could manipulate them in real time and do this in a way that's scalable. So we have a tessellation unit that's dedicated within the chip that allows us to do manipulation. So you can see here we could reduce the size of the mountains in real time. We could increase the amount of snow, reduce the amount of snow, and all of this is done with very, very little performance impact because the graphics is just that capable.
Fantastic. Well, this is all really impressive stuff, Stan. Thanks for giving us now we've got this one. I forgot about this. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the last aspect of this dynamic geometry acceleration I want to talk about is animation. Being able to do realistic animation is a key new attribute that we want to make pervasive in gaming. And this particular thing from Valve is showing Heavy, one of the new characters in Team Fortress 2, which shows really the range of expressive emotion that the character can have. And it's all because of the way that games are evolving. And DirectX 10 is really going to liberate the developer to have much more fun and enjoyable games. And our hardware is enabling that to happen. So with the ATI Radeon HD 2900, we're going to be able to deliver a really immersive gaming experience for users.
Excellent. So this is going to be one of the first ways if people want to experience DirectX 10 content with one of these cards. Very top-line stuff. Stan, thanks for coming and giving us a show.
One last thing I want to mention is that we have a really great bundle that we're including in with the product, so that we'll have the black box, which is the Team Fortress 2, Half-Life 2, Episode 2, and Portal, all bundled in. So you'll get $399.
So you get this card, $400. You'll get the game. And we actually have one, as you've been so kind as to give us one. Is this the one?
We're giving that away.
We're going to give this one away.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this one home.
No.
We're going to give this one away.
No. I am. No, we're giving that away.
So, hang out for the end of the show. You'll get to have a chance to get yourself one of these. This one, in fact. Again,
it's a good thing.
That's a very excellent thing. So it's the ATI Radeon HD 2900 XT. Stan, thanks again for coming by and giving us a show.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
What's up, Rich?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to fit that in under my jacket on the way out of here. But
I try and figure out how you can fit it into your motherboard that doesn't have a PCI Express slot, and it just keep pressing. It'll eventually get in there.
I'll make it work. Yeah. But I would like to thank Stan for bringing that by, and you guys stay tuned at the end. It comes with a voucher, so you get black box later on and everything. But right now, we mentioned there was a big old Sony event earlier this week. We're showing you as many interviews as we can. Up next is Heavenly Sword. Check it out.
glorious day this is. The rules are quite simple. Last man standing lives, everyone else dies.
And we are here at SCA's Gamers Day, and I'm here with Nina Christensen, who is co-founder of Ninja Theory, who is the developer that is working on the very pretty Heavenly Sword. Hello, Nina. What are you guys showing off here today?
This is a story about a young woman who's had a pretty brutal life. She's had a curse over her head ever since she was unfortunately born on the day that the deity should have been born.
Though I can feel the pain of the tortured.
20-odd years later, along comes King Bohan, who is absolutely obsessed with the Heavenly Sword. Noriko, our heroine's clan, are the holders of the sword. He wants it, he's desecrating the land, he's butchering her people, and in a moment of desperation, she decides to pick it up and wield it, knowing full well that it's going to kill her, because it is too powerful for a mere mortal to wield.
And so, speaking of power, you guys went into a little bit of depth about the combat system and explained just how powerful the sword is. Tell us about the fighting stances. Tell us about how you can kick butt in new and exciting ways.
Yeah, so there are a lot of weapons in Heavenly Sword, but the most important weapon is the Heavenly Sword. It's got 3 stances: speed, power, and range. Now, each of these stances has got different attack strategies, evades, combos, counters, and so on. And you need to pick the best strategy to dispatch all your enemies. You can switch stances mid-combo. So you could start out by, using a ranged attack to push a whole lot of people back, switch mid-combo for a power finisher to absolutely annihilate someone, and you can really mix it up.
Now, this demo of the game shows us a little bit of a different angle on how the game plays. And here we're seeing some action sequences that have you running up a rope, and then some more combat sequences. So how does that all fit together?
Okay, so there's a number of different things. Like you say, we've got the big hero sequences where you can run down the ropes and jump from side to side and do things that are kind of pretty crazy. In the combat ranges from one-on-one, really tough boss fights, to group combat, which is what you're mostly seeing here, and then all the way up to armies, where you can actually battle your way through thousands.
And obviously, she's on a journey, and journeys take you to all kinds of different places. So give us a sense of where you're going to go, the kind of environments we're going to see, the places we're going to be fighting.
Mm-hmm. There are a number of different environments. We actually start the game in a very snowy, desolate type of environment. Then we move actually back in time, because you're trying to change your future in this game, because you start out the game by dying, and you're playing your history to change your future. So then we take up the game here in Chapter 2, and it's a very lush environment, lots of waterfalls, lots of greenery. And we play in a number of other places, including a huge desert where you get to battle armies. So there's quite a wide range.
So, all right. As always, the game's left us wanting more. And, rather than demos or anything else, we just want to know when we're going to get it. So when can we look for it?
It's out in the fall.
All right, well, there you have it. That's what we have on Heavenly Sword. We'll be bringing you as much as we can in the months to come. But until then, we'll check you later.
Thank you, Ricardo. You can find that interview, stage demo, gameplay movies, previews, screenshots, all that stuff for Heavenly Sword on the site. But as we said earlier, not right now, because we're doing a show. Brian Eckberg, welcome.
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You got to take a trip recently, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I went to, along with Ricardo, to Japan for the Square Enix Festival. I guess they had one 2 years ago, and they had another one this year where they showed off everything Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and a whole bunch of stuff that's only coming out in Japan. And we saw a lot of great stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And what do you have with you right now?
Well, I am looking at right now the PSP remake of Final Fantasy Tactics. Now on the PSP, it's called Final Fantasy Tactics: The War of the Lions, but this is basically a
Voltron game.
A Voltron game. Sweet. Where you play. No.
Cloud's the head. He's
yes,
the head.
That's right.
They form like Voltron.
This is basically a remake of the PS the original PlayStation game that came out, I believe, in 98.
98. I think that
Yeah,
sounds about right.
And so it's a fairly literal translation. In fact, folks who played the game might recognize this as the second battle in the game, and it's very. It's a very pretty straight port of the original game. There is some new content in this version of the game, such as what's that?
Keep going, dude.
Such as like new cinematics, which we'll show in a little bit, I hope, and a few new missions and a couple of new job types, which is exciting because if you've never played this game, one of the things that makes it so cool is that it's very different from your typical Final Fantasy game where you're playing as one or two characters and you have a small party and you go along. In this game, you are playing as many different characters and they all have different job types. You have wizards and white mages and ninjas and samurai and everything.
How many different characters do you get to choose from? It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's over. I want to say it's over 20.
Yeah.
And they've added 2 to this game: the Dark Knight and the Onion Knight.
Onion Knight.
Yes, and I haven't had a chance to check those out, so I don't know what they're capable of. But the character I'm controlling right now is actually the main character in the game, and I'm going to see if I can get him close to someone.
Kind of feeling like an Onion Knight.
Yeah, he might be an onion. He's got ponytails, so he might be an Onion Knight.
Might need like some rings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and each of the character types have different abilities. You've got, of course, magic users and healers and things like that. And it's really a tactical game. It's not as much of a action adventure. In fact, it's not that at all. But it does have your typical Final Fantasy, very involved storyline and things like that. But for the most part, it's a very tactical game, and that's kind of what made it so famous when it first came out, was that it was so different from your typical Final Fantasy VII or something like that.
Are you close enough to mix it up with someone, or you still
I'm trying to get there.
While you do that, Ryan Davis, you got some questions for Brian?
Matthew Chun asks from from British Columbia. Let's just say that. Are there any multiplayer options in Final Fantasy Tactics?
I don't think so. The original game, there is. I'm being told there is multiplayer. Glad I looked to the left. Yes, there are multiplayer aspects to this game. In the original, there was not. So that's an improvement. 2-player multiplayer in this game.
We're seeing some action here. We're seeing swords crossed now.
Yes,
and like in a true strategy game like this, it's really just like picking the square on the dude and hitting attack. Or?
Exactly. I mean, obviously this is Japanese text, so it's kind of tough to tell what kind of attack you can use. But you have your standard ranged attacks and close attacks, and of course you have healers, and you even have spells that will affect area of effects. You can affect more than one enemy at the same time. And of course, this isn't the first Final Fantasy Tactics game. We saw Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance a few years ago, and they had Final Fantasy Tactics Advance A2 at the Square Enix Festival as well. So the Tactics world, and it all takes place in the same world, the Ivalice world. I think I'm going to get my attack on here.
Do it.
Yep.
Hurt him.
Yep, this guy.
Take that.
Take that
dude.
sword to the face. And, so... a lot of the things that haven't changed in this game. If you kill someone, there's a little timer that goes on above their head, and if it runs out, you can go get treasure from them after they've popped off. So
cool. Would you call it import friendly?
No, I would not.
Didn't think so.
From a mechanics standpoint, it plays basically like the original game. But in terms of the storyline, it's going to be even more confusing than the original Tactics, which is actually saying something, because that was incomprehensible. But we understand that they're going to relocalize the game and retranslate it. So I think the storyline's going to make a little bit more sense this time around.
Cool. Why don't
What's
you
the fun in that?
Cue up one of those cinematics for us while Ryan Davis tosses us some more questions. Ryan Davis.
One of the keys to getting your question on the air here is to have an awesome name, such as Callum Rakestraw.
Wow. That sounds like a Final Fantasy Tactics name.
It really does. Callum's from Springfield, Oregon, and he wants to know, is there any new content on top of those new classes?
Some new missions. What's that? I'm being told something else.
The man who lost his voice.
2 new playable characters. We mentioned that, the Dark Knight and the Onion Knight. Those are... Oh, right.
They can't hear you.
Yes.
Just give that
You're
man
right.
a mic.
Yeah.
No, what I'm being told is that there's characters that appear in other Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy, I believe, 12, Balthier, and Luso from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance appear in this game.
There you go.
And yeah. So,
Easy for you to say.
Yes. Now, what I wanted to show is actually the opening cinematic of the game, which shows off a very different style than you might be used to. The original CG in the original Tactics was kind of primitive, even for those days' standards, and they've redone it completely with an entirely new look than what you might be used to from a Square game.
I imagine they have to do something if they want to, normally the giant CG sequences, they take up a little bit of space on a disc. You're dealing with a PSP. You gotta...
Well, as you can see, these are still pretty lush looking. It's just almost like a hand-drawn look now.
Oh, yeah.
But the storyline of the CGs follow pretty closely to the original. Like, you'll see a lot of Chocobo riding here in the original, and here, as you did in the original, it's just a different style to it. The other thing is the music has been improved in this version a lot.
Crank the volume.
Can you not hear it?
There you go.
There we go. It's just really nice music. It's much more lush and orchestral this time around.
Zodiac Brave story, of course.
So you can see that sort of line art look to it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brian. The game is Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions. No Voltron involved, but...
well, it has yet to come out in the
Read
States.
between the lines.
Yeah, maybe.
When do you know when this game's coming to the States?
I don't think they've... October,
there
I'm
you
being told.
Man, man without a voice, again, sharing this.
One more question for you. So you were at this, you went to Japan, you went to this Square Enix party.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch a case of Dissidia while you were there?
I
heard it was going around.
Yeah, but you know what? They've got shots for it.
Good.
And a crew.
Brian will be playing another Final Fantasy game for us in a little bit, Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings, but I also, not only are we giving away that graphics card, we're going to give away these awesome brochures from the event. So Brian, you don't go anywhere. You stay tuned.
I will not.
Awesome. And right now, we're going to welcome Justin Calvert to the show. Hey, Ryan, is that Justin? Is it Justin?
It is Justin, like you just said. Justin, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan. How you doing?
You've brought along Eternal Sonata for the Xbox 360. This came out in Japan as a demo, and we managed to finagle ourselves a copy.
We did.
So this is a Japanese RPG, but it's got a little bit of a different angle. You want to guide us through this here?
Yeah, it has actually, you know what, the storyline isn't really that apparent in the demo, but the weird thing about this is that the whole story is basically it's a dream taking place in the head of Chopin, the famous composer, who is on his deathbed.
Of course. That all makes total sense.
Which makes about as much, yeah.
Hence the Japanese name, Trusty Bell.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Trusty Bell, as it's called in Japan, which makes about as much sense as anything else about this game. So, obviously, this game's got a really nice art style to it, but one of the more defining things seems to be its combat system. You want to...
Yeah, the thing with the combat system is that it's kind of turn-based, but then what happens is when it's your turn, you have like 5 seconds to do whatever you want, and you play in real time. So right now it's my turn. He isn't going to do anything until I start the timer by moving. So now I'm moving, I've got 5 seconds. I'm going to shoot at that root vegetable.
Of course.
Take it down.
Root vegetables, because everyone knows Chopin hated carrots.
Hell yes.
Hated onions.
And you can see what just happened there, actually. That one there, he just turned from... He was... a second ago, he was like this giant coconut thing.
Sure.
And that's because one of the features here is that when you're in the shade, you have different spells available to you than when you're in the sunlight. And the same is true of enemies.
So your characters will actually have different abilities depending on where they're standing in the battlefield.
Yeah, you have a basic attack that's the same wherever you are, but then each character can have just one light special ability equipped and one dark special ability equipped. And which one you use just depends on where you're standing. So that adds quite a lot of tactical kind of stuff to it, because not only do you need to think about where you're moving your characters, but you need to kind of maybe lure enemies into different areas, or there are certain moves that will like push them back into different areas and that kind of thing.
Interesting. So aside from the combat, what else is going on here?
Okay, so basically I've got a party of 3 of the 10 main characters now.
Okay.
And my goal in the demo is to get to the other side of a small village, which hopefully isn't going to take me too long. And then there's a giant kind of boar thing there that I need to kill. And there's a lot And when you get to if we get to the village, you'll see it looks a lot like a kind of regular RPG. There's a lot of walking around, exploring houses. Oops. Oh, actually, another thing with the combat, if this thing bothers to attack me, which I don't think it's going to, is when they attack you with a melee attack. Well, sorry, anytime they attack you, if they're facing you, you have a split-second button press you can do, which blocks their attack. And so you also need to think about, like, if you attack an enemy from behind, they can't block against you, and vice versa. Like, they can do the same thing to you.
So very, very tactical combat, it seems.
Yeah, surprisingly so. Like, it looks, I mean, it's to a certain extent, it's like a button masher, but then it also has, like, that kind of stuff. And there's also a combo system. Every time you hit an enemy, you start accumulating this combo, and you can keep it going through an entire fight through, like, multiple characters and everything. And that makes any special attack you use subsequently much more powerful.
Interesting. Rich.
Hi.
You got any questions?
I got a lot of questions.
What are they?
Ryan and Justin. Our first question, a lot of people asking, we'll give credit to Roll Turlings, though, in the Netherlands. How does this game use Chopin's music if it's in it?
I don't know if it actually uses his music, but there are a couple places in the demo where you can find, like, tunes that you play. I don't want to do it now because it kind of takes a while, but there's a guy in the village that you can go play songs with, and then you get a grade. I don't really know what that grade counts for, but yeah, there are definitely things where you, like, play musical instruments with other characters and that kind of thing.
So you say you've got 3 of the 10 main characters in this demo so far. Yeah. How big can your party actually get?
As far as I know, you only control 3 characters simultaneously.
Okay.
From what we've seen to date.
So do other characters just kind of swap in, or do you, like, is that something you can do?
Yeah. I think they swap in and out through the story, because actually the thing is, like, I mean, Chopin, like, I guess his influences on the whole story, like all of their names are kind of musical sounding.
I noticed that there was a beat
and the same with
polka.
the enemies. Yeah, and then the other weird thing is that the reason that all of these characters have special abilities is because they're suffering from a fatal illness. And so you probably don't want to get too attached to any of these characters.
So what you're saying is probability that the game ends when Chopin dies.
Or when all of these people just inevitably die. Like,
Rich, give me a couple more questions.
Couple more questions? All right.
More.
Let's see what we got here. Our next question comes from... No, not that one. No, not that one. Okay, there you go. This question is from Tom. Tom wants to know, how many hours will this game likely last, if you can take a guess, please?
I can tell you the demo takes about 20 minutes.
Okay.
I have no idea how long
that was from Bristol in the Great Britain, by the way. Tom's from Bristol.
Thank you, Tom. So really no sense of that from the demo.
I have no idea whatsoever.
All right, give me something else.
I have one last question then.
Okay, one last question.
This is from Stefan in Stuttgart, Germany. Wants to know, will there be a European release for this game? Do you know, Justin Calvert?
I don't know, actually, Rich Gallop.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I know there's a North American release Namco Bandai's putting out here, but I haven't heard about a European release.
Cool. When's it coming out here?
I believe it's September.
Excellent. You think you're going to be able to make it to the big boss fight here? Or
probably not. And actually, I really need to start healing that guy because he's going to die otherwise.
To hell with him. He's going to die anyways. That seems to at least be the theme here. Well, so that's Eternal Sonata. That's for the Xbox 360. You've got a preview up for the game right now.
Yeah, that's up, and tons of really nice screenshots and some movies and stuff.
Yeah, it's a great game to look at. So excellent. Thanks for coming by and giving us a show.
My pleasure.
Rich, you've got more stuff from Sony, right?
I do. Before we show the next interview, which is for Uncharted, Drake's Fortune.
Yes.
Jeff Gerstmann, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Now, that demo is only available on the Japanese Xbox Live Marketplace right now.
Yes.
Is it easy for people to get that with the new stuff in place?
It actually is. That was one of the things that everyone thought they were going to block with the spring update is prevent people from getting at stuff they weren't supposed to be able to get at. But yeah, if you have a Japanese account for a 360, which you can make relatively easily using the Japanese version of Hotmail, or just tell it, hey, I live in Japan, you can get that demo. And actually, the interesting thing about this demo is that if you're playing it, I guess on a Japanese system, it would probably show up as Trusty Bell, but here it shows up as Eternal Sonata with the US name and everything. So clearly, it seems like they're planning on releasing this same demo in the US at some point. But hey, why wait?
Exactly. Why wait? That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
All right. Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. This game looks awesome. Check it out.
Hey kids, it's Brad checking in from Sony's San Diego studio where they're showing off a whole bunch of PS3 games today. One of those games that's being shown for the first time is Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, and I'm fortunate enough to be joined here by none other than Naughty Dog President Evan Wells. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Cool. So you guys showed us a trailer this morning that kind of set up the premise of the game. There's some crazy Fortune of El Dorado, and Drake is this Indiana Jones kind of character, but can you give us a little more expanded backstory on the game?
Yeah, well, the hero is named Nathan Drake, and he believes that he's the descendant of the 16th century privateer Sir Francis Drake. And so he's not only trying to hunt down this treasure that he's left behind, he's also trying to establish his family lineage. And then he kind of gets caught up with these nasty dudes, you know. I mean, he's working as a treasure hunter. He kind of gets his fingers in some of the bad side of the black market antiquities dealing and drug smuggling, gun running. So there's a lot of bad folks that he's sort of on the fringe of, and they kind of jump him, and all hell breaks loose.
Cool. So what are some of the unique features of the gameplay?
We've got 3 pillars of gameplay. One is traversal, so like platforming, which you expect to see out of Jak and Daxter. Then we also have really intense gunplay, with a sophisticated cover system. And then we have hand-to-hand combat, brawling melee.
You guys have always been like one of the strongest developers in terms of technology on the Sony hardware. So obviously this is an all-new engine for the PS3. So what are you guys doing on the tech side this time to really push the hardware?
Yeah, we started this engine from scratch for the PS3 to take advantage of the hardware. We're really relying on the cell processor heavily in order to run our layered animation system, which is responsible for having this human-like animation that moves fluidly and still responds really well to the control. So that's one area that we're focusing on is the animation. Also, our environments are getting very, very big and they're very detailed. So the storage that it takes to have all these levels in memory at one time requires that we cache things onto the hard drive so that we can stream them in quickly enough as you move from area to area. So we can continue to do what we did in Jak and Daxter, which is present a seamless, load-free experience.
So I got to check out the demo just now, and I saw like there's a pistol, there's an AK-47, shotgun, grenades, stuff like that. Are there any cooler, maybe more explosive toys that people can look forward to later in the game?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got currently we've got 12 weapons slated. Might expand later. We got grenade launchers. We got rocket launchers. We got all kinds of different machine guns and revolvers and pistols. The gameplay works like this. You can only have one single-handed weapon and one two-handed weapon in your inventory at one time. So if you ever want to change weapons, you got to put one down, pick another one up. So it's just sort of a strategic element as to what weapons you want to carry into a particular area of combat.
Cool. So there's a whole lot of climbing, jumping, rolling, that sort of thing in the demo. Later in the game, will there be more puzzle-solving elements, or is it pretty straightforward action?
Yeah, I mean, there are some puzzle elements. They're fairly light, though, and we did want to keep it arcadey and twitchy and fast-paced, so we didn't want to rely too heavily on the puzzles. But because, this is a treasure hunt, and you are coming across, some ancient ruins and stuff, there are some puzzles that are involved, yeah.
Cool. Well, the game looks great. When can we find it?
It's coming out this holiday season.
I'd like to thank you, Brad. That game looks awesome. We'll be talking more about that event at the end of the show. But right now, Jeff Gerstmann.
Hey, what's up?
Halo 3, dude.
Yeah, this guy's got a turret, and he's mowing me down with it.
He's running around with a turret.
Yeah.
You want to play some Halo?
Hey, bro, dude, you want to play a little Halo?
So
while you were out, this Halo 3 multiplayer beta came out. Since you hadn't seen it,
I'm
figured,
jealous.
Hey, why not put it on the show?
Yeah, we have to have it on the show.
Yeah.
You guys did a marathon and everything, huh?
We did, yeah. We played it for some hours. We logged a little Halo time.
How long did you play it for, do you remember?
I want to say, what was it, Ryan? 4 hours or something we were playing?
We were 3.5.
Awesome. Nicely done.
That couch gets really hot after a couple hours.
Yeah, tell me about it. That Super Paper Mario marathon I did with Ricardo, I was getting all shifty. That dude isn't even seeing you. Nice.
I gave it to him rough.
So the game is Halo 3. Is it awesome? Anytime someone's playing this around the office, everyone just stands and watches.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does draw a crowd because it is Halo. Everyone's familiar with Halo at this point, I think, and this beta doesn't really. I mean, if you're super hardcore into Halo and you've been playing Halo every day for the past 3 years or 4 years, or however long it's been out, then you're probably noticing a lot of changes. They rebalanced the weapons somewhat. Like the Needler, you can't dual wield it anymore because apparently they've made it more powerful. That hasn't been my experience with it. I've had a hell of a time killing anyone with it, but apparently that's the case. But in a lot of ways, it is very similar to Halo 2's multiplayer.
So the real question I got to ask though right now is there going to be a fracture in the Xbox Live community between Halo fans and Gears of War fans? Is everyone who's playing Gears of War right now just going to put it down and play Halo?
Well, I think everyone who's still, I think there's already kind of that fracture to some extent, as we have the Halo 2 players and the Gears of War players. And some of that's because some people don't have a 360 or whatever, but I think that there are plenty of people that are playing Halo 2 on a 360 using the backwards compatibility, and those people will probably just move right over to Halo 3, and I suspect that the people that are playing Gears of War will probably play a little Halo 3 and then maybe just go, I could go for a little more Gears. Oh! That guy's got the Spartan laser. That's one of the new weapons. It hurts when it hits you.
Cool. So obviously this beta, the way you play this beta is you have to have a copy of Crackdown?
Yeah, there are multiple ways to get into the beta, but at this point, if you aren't already in the beta, the way for you to get into it, and here's the bubble shield. The way to get into it is to buy a copy of Crackdown, and that gives you access to download it. So we're inside this bubble shield. No shots can escape from it or enter into it, but people can run in and out. So the tactic is to do that, is basically run through the bubble and hit the guy with the butt of your gun, or wait in the bubble and wait for the guy to get in there and hit him with the butt of your gun. And people are still kind of experimenting with how best to use some of these items.
There's that bubble thing.
Yeah.
So basically what's going to happen is there's going to be a ton of people playing this beta, and then when the game actually comes out, everyone who hasn't been playing the beta is going to be hopelessly lost.
Well, I think, the game is so similar to Halo 2 that, I think if you pick up this beta right now and you haven't been playing Halo 2, you're already going to be lost, because a lot of people just know the timing and have a lot of it down, and you end up with a lot of awesome stuff like that where you're running and all of a sudden, boom, you're dead, and you're like, oh, dude, what?
But Halo 2
and then some guy says, you're totally weak, and then they swear at you because everyone who plays Halo, Halo 2 is the reason why online gaming has a bad name.
But if there's one thing that Halo 2 will be known for, is that it had some great matchmaking stuff. So if you are
and that matchmaking stuff is all present here. Cool. They're just pretty much duplicating a lot of that same functionality so far, and it works just fine.
Nice. Well, thank you, Jeff. The game is Halo 3. People can find all kinds of screenshots, gameplay, movies, HD stuff.
And of course the big announcement is that it's coming out September 25th.
Not November.
Not
or
November.
We thought it was.
Not October. No, it's not 6 months away. That's soon.
Cool. And we still know nothing about the single player.
Nothing at all, except it's expected that a lot of it will take place on Earth. I would hope.
You play as a giant plant.
And you play as a giant plant.
Yes. Ryan Davis, Brian Eckberg, what's going on over there?
Not much. What's going on over there? We're gonna play some Halo a little later.
Sweet.
But for you want to play some Halo, Brian? Excellent.
All right.
After work, play some Halo. Start a clan. It'll be sweet.
Can't wait.
But hey, how about right now we play some Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings
That's
for
right.
the DS?
Yes, more Final Fantasy. As you said, this is a DS game, a sequel of sorts to the Final Fantasy 12 that came out on PS2.
So this is taking place in the same universe with the same characters?
Some of the same characters.
Okay.
There are some new characters that you'll meet along the way, but the main characters from Final Fantasy 12, I should say, Van and Penelo are in this game.
Okay.
And when the game starts out, Van has sort of become a sky pirate like he wanted to in the first game, and he's got his own airship now. And so what sets this game apart is that, again, this is not your typical Final Fantasy game. This is actually a real-time strategy game set in the Final Fantasy world of Ivalice. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of little characters here that I've met along the way, and I don't know if you guys can get a shot of this, but you can use the stylus on the touchscreen to select guys.
So you're actually just drawing that little box.
Just as you would with a mouse on a PC game.
So it's basically just like RTS conventions.
Exactly, and then as you can see, it's kind of tough to tell from this angle, but my guys are attacking enemies. It's all very, in terms of the attacks, it's very automated. You set guys close to enemies, and they're going to attack. So
I gotta say, move kind of slow.
They do move kind of slow. You're right, but maybe they'll work on that when it comes to the States. But the thing is that you quickly learn in this game that you have to split your forces. I mean, you can roll through the beginning stages and just overwhelm your opponents with just sheer numbers. But at some points, you're going to have to split things up and split your forces just because there's so many enemies to deal with, and they'll attack and get aggressive, and you have to deal with it that way. But I don't know if you can see this level of detail, but there's the main characters in the game, and they also have these summoned minions that you can use. There's these certain points in the map where you can summon minions.
Okay.
And what you can summon, how many you can summon, all differ and progress as you get through the game. So you start off with just 2 characters in the game, or you just start off with Van, but your party quickly grows as you go until you have a party of maybe 15, 20 people, 20 characters on screen, and they all have differing abilities. Van fights with a sword, and Penela, is a healer, so she does a lot. And it's all automated, so as long as you put your people close to each other, Penela will heal and things like that. There's also special attacks. As I move my group over here, I'll try to show some of the special attacks that you can do.
Now, does this have any sort of implementation of the Gambit system, or some interpretation of it? That was the big gameplay system in Final Fantasy XII?
The license board, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah, the license board is in this, I believe. I haven't had a real chance to mess with it too much. But what the real strategy, I think, strategic element in this game is not only just making sure your forces are in the right spot, but also which summons you use at any given moment, because you have summons that are very strong on the ground, summons that are very good at ranged distances, and some that fly, and they all sort of cancel one another out, so it's like a rock, paper, scissors. And once you get to one of these summon points, you can summon whatever you want for certain, for any character. So it's really just a matter of how you want to configure your party for whatever situation you get into next.
Now, is this just pretty much a straight dungeon crawl?
So far, it's been fairly straightforward. This is literally, we're going through a castle quarters of some sort, but there's also outdoor levels and things like that. But for the most part, it's fairly straightforward. You just take on the enemies as they come. I think I'll try to show one of the. This is one of the characters. You might be able to see she's on a hoverboard of sorts, and she can use a hoverboard attack. You sort of select it on the menu, and
hoverboards don't work on water.
Well, they work everywhere in the Final Fantasy world.
Bojo.
Hey, Rich. Hi. You decided to talk. Why don't you ask some questions?
Sure. Joseph Schreier wants to know. He's in New York. Wants to know. Can you rotate the camera at all?
No, but what you can do is, I'm obviously moving the camera around with the D-pad, but one of the cool things you can do to sort of make things easier is with the trigger button, either trigger button, I can flip-flop the top and bottom screen, and then I can just tap on the screen to get to another area, and then when I flip it again, you'll see that new area. So it's really easy to get around even large maps just by tapping on where you want to go.
I'm going to steal one of Rich's questions from your Final Fantasy Tactics demo earlier. Import friendly?
In terms of the base mechanics, vary. Yeah. I mean, you obviously, unless you speak Japanese, you're not going to know much about the story.
Right.
But it's very easy to get around. It's very easy to figure things out. There's a tutorial that takes you right through the basic mechanics right away, so you learn how to play it very, very quickly. And yeah, I'd say it's pretty import friendly, and it'll eventually be coming to the States, but we don't know an exact date yet.
Now, obviously, one of the big things in any Final Fantasy game is big, crazy cinematics.
Yeah.
And there is some of that in this, is that right?
There is, and they're actually kind of pretty impressive looking.
Can you load up one of those right now?
Yeah.
And while you do that, Rich, you want to come up with another question?
Sure, this will be my last question. It's from Victor Roa, and he wants to know, it's a broader question. Since there aren't that many RTS games on the DS, do you think this game speaks well for the possible future of RTS games on this system?
That's a good question, possibly. The developers of this game in Japan have said that they're introducing this as an introduction for the Japanese people into this genre, because it's not a hugely popular genre in Japan, I should say. But I don't know. I mean, one of the problems with this with the game really is that the screens are so small that the characters are very small, and it's hard to differentiate one from the other.
Right.
But at the same time, it's I'm having trouble bringing this
up. All right,
up. But,
so we'll scrap that one.
But at the same time, it's easy to get around, and the basics of the battle system are very easy. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
So easy game to pick up if you want to import it. You're not going to get a damn thing out of the story, but you should be able to play it. Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings. You got a preview up on the site right now.
Yep, it's up now.
Excellent. Brian, thanks for giving us the show.
My pleasure.
Rich, what's up next?
What's up next is, if you haven't seen some of the coverage from the Square Enix event where Ricardo and Brian run around all over the show floor, I highly recommend you watch that. It's awesome. But our man Takeshi actually threw in this extra bit of video where Ricardo attacks the store that was at the Square Enix event and probably spent like $3 million or something. Check it out.
All right, so we mentioned that Square Enix was selling a bunch of game-related goods here, and we figured we had to show you the shop because it's kind of crazy. One of the sneak peeks they've got here right now are 3 like awesome figures, super high quality, probably super expensive, of a Judge from FF12, and then Cloud and Sephiroth from Advent Children. Cloud and Sephiroth are insane. They're made with real hand-stitched leather, and they're probably going to be a couple $100, so start saving now. Now, here we are at something a little more affordable if you don't have a couple $100 to buy enormous hand-stitched leather action figures. We've got some Pixar figures here that Square was actually commissioned to do in Japan because everyone was really pleased with some of the toys that they did for Kingdom Hearts, which you also see here. Square is huge in Japan when it comes to toys. Like, we all know their games, but their goods division is kind of crazy because they blow away U.S. toys like you couldn't believe. And what we've got here is a sampling of toys that they intend to bring to the U.S. The first set of little miniatures that you're going to be checking out are super deformed versions of FF characters that appear in Itagaki Street, which is that board game we talked about a little earlier. In the center, prototypes for Final Fantasy Tactics figures, the new ones, which are really nicely done. And over here, the last set is Final Fantasy III figures based on the DS game that are going to be exclusive to the U.S. store because, good news, folks, Square intends to open an online store that's going to have a lot of this stuff probably around June. And obviously, to close things off, let's show you something really expensive. Basically, what we've got here is a gorgeous sculpted profile statue that is going to be coming out sometime later this year for probably a couple $100 because, come on, let's face it, these things ain't cheap. And so we just showed you like a couple highlights. There's actually 112 items on this sheet, and there's more than that on display here. The line back there is, I believe, about 700 people, they said, and it's like a 2-hour wait to come shop. And we only showed you like a fraction of what Square's got, because there's a whole row over here of just Dragon Quest stuff. So if you like slime, this would be the place. And so here's the less sexy part about shopping, which is the pain. So you get in line, after you've waited in that line, you take your pre-filled out form to cashier, and you've got all your stuff. They ring you up, they give you a chip, you go wait, and then what you're hearing is people getting called, and then you go over and you get a bag full of stuff. It's like Christmas.
Thank you, Ricardo. A lot of those toys, Jeff, don't really look like toys to me. They look like
they're
art pieces.
Like action figures for you to put on your cubicle.
You don't get to actually play with
I mean, you could take that stuff and bash them together all you want, but they're gonna all shatter. Because they're all weird clay figurines.
They still look awesome.
They are.
Hey, I love Tom F. Wilson.
Dude, me too.
Yeah.
And finally, he's back in video game form with Wing Commander.
Kind of.
No, not at all.
Not even kind of?
No, not even kind of. Wing Commander Arena is an Xbox Live Arcade game that's coming soon. And this ain't the Wing Commander that you are thinking of, essentially. Though it does have a lot of what you'd expect a Wing Commander game. Again, there's Kilrathi ships, and also the Earth forces. We'll pick an Earth ship and get right in. Now, look at that. It is like a top-down kind of shooter game, and it's primarily focused for multiplayer action. Now, it'll have 16-player support when it does come out, but we're in a match with bots right now, which will not be the most exciting thing in the world. But we can get in here and fly around and do some stuff. Multiple weapons, and basically you just kind of fly around and shoot stuff. There's a few different modes. There's one where each side has a capital ship that you're trying to take out.
Dude, I was talking about these bots are pretty good. I can see this game getting pretty hectic with 16 people all yelling at each other and playing this game.
Yeah, and with team-based stuff, and the right stick will do your little evasive maneuvers, so I can flip around and dodge some shots, and you can change the camera perspective here if you want a different look at the action. But none of them are going to give you that first-person kind of Wing Commander-y feel that the original had. This is very much a different game, which you know, if you're the sort of person that's been expecting a new Wing Commander game for years and years, you might be a little angry. But it's actually pretty cool.
Maybe there'll be enough clamor over this that then they will make a new Wing Commander game. Mark Hamill is available.
Mark Hamill not doing much. Tom F. Wilson, he can still do them. He can still say, "Chalk up another one for the Maniac." He can do that. Drop of a hat, he's showing up to say that for you.
Bot names also awesome. Fireclaw, Lone Wolf, Hollywood, Deathstroke.
All really awesome. You have afterburners here. If you click in both sticks, you can get a little boost. And little power-ups to pick up that'll restore your gun efficiency and repair your engines if you afterburn too much. And it's just a fun little action-packed multiplayer shooter, and it's surprisingly exciting, for what looks like a pretty simple game.
Cool. Ryan Davis, I want one question about Wing Commander Arena.
How much is it going to cost? Asks Tapio Turunen from Finland.
I don't believe EA has announced a price for the game, but I'd say it's a pretty safe bet that it's going to end up being 800 points. That seems like pretty much the base level maximum for originally developed content for Xbox Live Arcade and for the PlayStation 3 is that 800 point $10 mark.
Cool. And I'd ask for a release date, but
you know how this Xbox Live Arcade stuff is. We don't know.
It could show up tomorrow.
I know that this is not the final version of the game.
Cool.
As I understand it, so I don't know. Maybe it'll come out next week. Maybe it'll come out next year.
But it looks like it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks,
yeah,
Jeff.
No problem.
Wing Commander Arena. Ryan Davis, last demo of the day. Raw Danger.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. We've sort of flip-flopped roles. I'm going to be doing the demo. You're going to be playing Raw Danger.
I feel like I should be on the other side.
That's
but
okay.
Let's just keep going.
We'll deal.
Okay.
The Danger's too raw to switch places now.
We got to stay right here.
Okay, so this is Raw Danger. This is the sequel, I guess kind of the sequel to Disaster Report, which was a PlayStation 2 game that came out a couple years ago, which basically in that game you had to survive an earthquake. You were in this futuristic city, and there was a massive earthquake, and you were a survivor, and you had to get the hell out. And in this game, you're in a futuristic city called GeoCity, and there's been a massive flood, and now you're trying to get out of here.
And as I understand it, you're underground, right? So the water's rushing in.
Yeah. I mean, right now, we are. Actually, I think we might be on ground level, but it is large parts of the city are built underground.
Okay.
And it is surrounded by water, so it is kind of like an island city. And so that is causing them loads of trouble with this. As you can see, there's lots of peril.
Wow.
Fraught with peril.
Raw!
Lots of stuff happens.
Raw
the
peril.
danger,
That name was
very raw. Actually, I think we have to go back in the room and get that other thing. As you can see, there's items and stuff that you have to pick up, do a lot of combining.
Where is Stephanie?
Where is Stephanie? This is a girl that I've been running around with. We were both waiters at the beginning of the game before the flood started, and so now we've kind of partnered up and are trying to get out of the city together. She's down on the floor unconscious.
Looks like she's unconscious.
It does look like that, so I got to go and take care of that. So I'm going to go in here, grab this item, which happens to be a lighter.
Why is there a Christmas tree in the lower right-hand corner?
One of the weird things about this game is you regularly pick up different little. I can't carry anything else. That's right. I gotta use or
Got to drop one of those green leaves.
I'll use something.
Drop it, son.
Now, one of the big things in this game is your body heat. That's something you really need to be concerned about because you're running around in water a lot of the time, so you get cold quickly. You see there's a little meter down in the lower left corner. So there's stuff like heating pads, which you use to help you keep your body heat up, and that's an important thing. If your body heat gets too low, you start moving slowly, and eventually you just die.
Now, do you run into enemies at all, or is it strictly just avoiding disaster?
Thus far, it's only been disaster, but the original Disaster Report, you did end up running into bad people that caused you a hard time, and they're setting up some plot stuff in this game that makes me think that that's going to be the case in here as well.
I've got 10 more questions about the Christmas tree, by the way.
Okay, more questions about the Christmas tree.
So why is it a Christmas tree again?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Christmas tree because you can pick up different. You can pick up basically just these little visuals for your compass. Right now it's a Christmas tree. I've had it look like a pedometer. I had it look like food. Just all sorts of weird stuff.
What kind of food?
I don't recall. You know, actually, let me see if I can actually. No, can't find it here. So I'm going to turn on my lighter here, equip that, and so that's going to light up this area down here, which is good because now I can see. And there's a flashing light.
That's a good lighter.
That is a very good lighter. The sign says emergency shutter operating device. It can't be opened because there's no handle.
If only you had a speed handle.
If only I had this speed handle, which I will use to open up.
That is fat. That's speedy.
It is. It's speedy. I don't need that anymore, so I'm going to dump that, which is good because that's heavy. So you do have a weight limitation on how much stuff that you can carry on you. It's not so much a space limitation.
So you spend time playing as both characters in this game, right?
No.
No.
So far, you're only playing as this main character. However, my understanding is that at points in the game, you'll actually play as other characters entirely. There is actually just different storylines that you'll play through of different people that are caught up in this.
Okay. Rich, do you have any questions?
Nah.
So as you can see, the danger is very raw.
It's so raw.
This danger's raw.
How raw? Here's a question. This question is from Jeff in San
Oyster
Francisco.
raw.
How raw is the box art for this game?
It's all the way raw. I believe we actually have it here. If we could pull that up and show the folks at home.
Salmonella raw.
The rawness. Yeah, no, nothing.
No.
Okay, we can also do that too.
Cool, so when's this game coming out?
Either end of the month or beginning of June. I've got a couple different conflicting release date information, but
so raw it doesn't even have a firm release date. How raw is that?
Dice raw.
Look at me, I'm balancing ever so
raw.
precariously.
And it's coming out for PS2, right?
This is a PlayStation 2 game all the way, sir.
All right.
And actually, it looks a little bit rough on the edges, but as you can see there.
Look out for that danger.
Look out for the rawness of that danger.
Raw.
That's your buddy.
No, that's someone else, but that's significant only because you meet her earlier. But I don't want to spoil anything for folks. So yeah, it's kind of interesting in how it kind of has this different take on the survival horror concept. Instead of running away from
zombies, you're
running away from danger
and escalators.
Yes.
All right.
And actually now it's going to get real raw because the water level's rising. I got to carry this girl out of here. So let's end it at that.
Cool.
Raw Danger. Review on the site soon.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Rich.
Thanks, Brian.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thanks,
Up next, last video segment of the show, we have a world premiere trailer for Dungeons and Dragons Tactics. It's about combat. Check it out. Dungeons and Dragons Tactics. You want to see it again? It'll be on the site shortly. Jeff Gersten, we've come to that part of the show where we sit back, relax, prizes and stuff. But before we do that,
prizes and stuff for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Is that how long you guys did it for last time?
I don't even remember. It seems
It's
like
just
days
a blur.
now. Yeah.
I was on the beach earning 20%.
Nice.
But so the Sony event. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Sony had a lot of stuff to show. You can tell that they're kind of saving a lot of their creative capital for the end of the year.
Oh, man.
That they're really looking to leverage that creative capital. All inside joking aside, that stuff looks awesome. Ratchet and Clank looks really good. Uncharted, that one looks pretty solid. And of course, Heavenly Swords looked good for a while now. So, it seems almost like, if those games deliver on all these promises that Sony's making now, it seems like, those would be the things that change it from a if to a when as to when you're going to get a PlayStation 3. Those seem like they could.
No, dude, we have to be down on it so they'll lower the price.
True. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But totally. Looking at those games, it's like, yeah, I want to play that. I want to play that. I want to play that.
And of course, they still have Killzone. Maybe Killzone will be awesome.
Maybe. And then there's also God of War: Chains of Olympus. We have an interview for that gameplay as well for the PSP. That's still kicking it.
Of course, who knows what else? It's like Sony has a lot up their sleeves from the seams of it. There has to be more where this came from. So by this holiday season, we could be looking at a rush of really good-looking PS3 games.
Yeah. What else was at home? Obviously, was there Little Big Planet.
Yeah, Little Big Planet. The customization stuff they showed off.
Yeah.
And a lot of really interesting looking things.
Check the flat page once the show is over, which will be soon enough. All kinds of interviews, gameplay, movies, and stuff. But right now, Prizes. What did you guys give away last week? Like everything? There's a pile in my office right now, and I don't even want to touch it.
I don't really remember. It was like 4 o'clock rolled around, and they said that Frank pointed at me and said, "Go," and then I don't know what happened after that. It's all kind of
big blackout for Jeff.
Yeah, it was a big blackout moment for me. So.
Well, Ryan Davis, I'm going to need your help because there is a list of names for winners, and Ryan Davis and Jeff and I, we're all just going to take turns shouting out the names as they go by. You guys
Fantastic.
ready? Yeah. All right. Here. Look for your name. We might not be able to say it because there's going to be so many of them. But
in what order?
Just go. It'll be
But I
fun.
mean, is it going to be you or is it you?
Let's find out. Show the winners.
Okay.
Let's just find out. Let's just find out.
Let's just
find out. There you go. Peter Zwart, Kevin Baraki, Gary Anderson, Warren, Stephen Lynn, Ross Williams,
Joshua Broham. That's a great name.
There are a lot of great names in there. There you go. Congratulations. You won something.
One of you is going to get a muffler.
What did you win? I don't know. Check the mailbox.
Check the mailbox. Something's going to show up.
Maybe it'll be a muffler.
You might just want to hit return to sender on it and throw it back in. I don't know.
Nah, keep it. It's awesome. It's part of a show. But this week we are giving away, where'd that go? To me, this awesome ATI Radeon.
You think you're all
HD.
bad because you got an ATI Radeon HD?
Maybe you guys gave away mufflers, but this is how I roll when it's with prizes.
We had mufflers and T-shirts.
That's really good. I'm sure they appreciate it.
It was a sweet muffler, autographed by Sam Fisher.
Yeah, Sam Fisher.
That strategy guy.
He's not a real person.
Well, how did he sign it then?
That's what
that makes it that much more rare.
Yeah, it was fake. I heard you guys. I saw that candle thing over there. You didn't give that one away.
No, I think we're keeping the candle.
Because what game was it for?
Eco.
Eco. You got to keep that.
Yeah,
we're
gonna sell that for like $1 zillion and
awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is it right here. It's in here. It's heavy. It comes with a coupon for the black box, Half-Life 2, all that stuff. There it is. It's big. It's heavy.
And for when that comes out in 2009.
Yeah, it's coming. No, that game's already done. Dude. Half-Life 2's done. They're just adding stuff.
No, this is
more Half-Life
episode 2 in the portal.
And all. It'll be there
in 7 years.
Well, in 7 years,
if you want to win a prize on the spot, the way you do it is you have to be a paid subscriber. You got to hit the Win Prizes tab that you see to the right of this viewer. Although I'm pointing to the left, it's the right. You click on that, choose question number 1 in the drop-down menu, and prepare to answer this multiple-choice question, which you won't know the answer for unless you read James, and Sarju's Shaw's preview about this very card on the hardware side.
I read it.
Or you guess what? All right, ready? Here is the question then. How many stream processors does the Radeon HD 2900 XT have?
Everyone knows that.
Is it A, 40, B, 120, C, 240, or D, 320? The first person to get it right, congratulations, you won yourself this rather hefty card. It's like a $500 value or something. 400, 500. It's expensive.
It's pricey.
And you'll have it.
It's some hardware. It is some hardware.
Please make sure you have a computer that can handle it, because if you don't and you just get it to stare at it and over all your friends,
whatever. A motherboard that would support it is way cheaper than the card itself. So if you have the card, make the investment to make it go.
Get the motherboard. Yeah, get the MOBO. Yeah. There you go. Sweet. Congratulations.
And then the CPU, I guess, probably is a bunch of money.
But might need one of those.
Whatever.
But I run Windows 2000. All right. So we're also giving away a bunch of these. Here you go, Jeff. I think we have 4 of these. These are actual. This is the official pamphlet of the Square Enix Party 2007. Do you like cool art? Because this thing is full of it. It's got art all over the place. Look at all this art.
This pamphlet's for you.
Do you like stickers? Stickers too. I think those are stickers.
Stickers?
Yeah, those are totally stickers. Fold out.
It's got stickers. Stickers for every. It's the logo of every Final Fantasy game ever.
Everyone.
Well, every major. Well, no, yeah. Well, not every single one.
Fabula
but every major
Nova
one,
Crystallis,
and then also
Final Fantasy 13.
Versus 13 is the only non.
What's Agito 13 and Nova Crystallis 13? What are those?
Nova Crystallis is the dating sim.
Okay, we're just
going to
look through this for a while. There are people. There's smiley, happy people there. Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna give away 4 of these. And if you want to win one of these, choose question number 2 in the drop-down menu. Be GameSpot.
There's a chocobo with a cell phone coming out of its head.
Awesome. Yeah, and prepare to answer this. If you saw, we talked about the video earlier where Brian ran around the floor, talked to a bunch of cosplayers, and they didn't really know a word he was saying.
Yes.
It was pretty funny. He talked about stuff, and if you saw that, then you'll be able to answer this trivia question. Choose number 2. Get ready to answer this. Here it is. In his tour of the Square Enix event, Brian admitted to dressing up as who for Halloween? Was it A, Cloud, B, Dick Duran, C, Mike Ditka, or D, Tifa?
Huh.
That's a tricky one.
I could see Brian as any one of those four, really.
Does anyone really know who Dick Giron is? He's a football coach, let me tell you.
Okay.
He's the head coach of the Bills right now. But he used to coach the Bears. Brian's a Bears fan. You should have figured out the answer by now. It's Tifa. So congratulations to the first 4 people. Get that right. You won yourself. This is a hefty pamphlet, too.
It's thick. That thing is thick.
The thing is solid. That's it. That's all we got. That's the show.
Oh, that's all you got to give away, huh?
What are you talking about?
Up with?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The retail value of all of your prizes was 3 cents, and we got this. 3 cents. Actually, you know what? It's 0 because I don't think you paid for any of that stuff. It was all free.
You know what? That thing you could get in a store.
Mm-hmm.
The other stuff, not available in any store.
Yeah,
infinitely more rare.
Yeah, you can't find a muffler anywhere.
Not a muffler with
muffler
infograms written on it.
I'll get a muffler. I'll write infograms on it.
Yeah, maybe we'll give that away next week then.
Tournament TV
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Try to be like
Motorstorm tomorrow for Tournament TV.
Yeah.
Motorstorm. Check it out.
I'll watch.
Ryan Davis, good show, buddy.
Hey, thanks. It was awesome. I had fun.
I'd like to thank Sega and ATI for coming by, Brian as well, Justin, Ricardo for all his help, Brad, everyone who contributed to the Sony coverage. Go watch all that stuff right now. Now you can do that. The show's over. Go right ahead. I'm going to take this home, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Yes. That was a good shot. Crew, nice job as always. My name is Rich Gallup. Thanks for watching Kitchen Nukes. We're here on the Outspot. These are the best credits.